On this video we are going to continue where we left on the last one. If you didn't watch that one, you can find a link in the description. We now are going to add 3 cells, one for each section. What you do here in the storyboard may not look like the final result because we will change something in code. But let's give an identifier to this cell. We'll call it highlight cell, and here select scale to fill. Okay. I will change this to custom, but you don't need to. I will do that just to see better in the preview, but we will change these sizes in the code, in the Swift code. Okay, now let's change here to dark mode. Okay, close this, it's here, and put here a stack view with the image and the button inside. Okay, so stack vertical. Now add the constraints. So press Ctrl and add the constraints to the super view. All these 4. Let's make sure that they are all at 0. 0 for this one. Okay, 0 and 0 here as well. We can add now the image view and the label. So let's go to the plus sign to add both. So first the image view. Image view. Put it inside the stack view. Here, make sure it's inside. And now let's add the button. I said the label before, but it's button. Okay. Let's add some image to the image view to see it here. This will not make any change in the final project. It's just to have some preview here in the storyboard. Okay. Let's now press Ctrl and add equal width and equals 8 as well. Now let's change it here from okay, this is fine, and the button as well. Equal width. Now change the text color from blue to white. Go here and select white color. Now we will create the model class. I will call it movie. Here press Ctrl N and select Swift class. Call it movie. Import UIKit and make sure it uses hashable, because we are going to use diffable data source, and the class we use as model needs to conforms to the hashable protocol, so the diffable data source can compare two items. So as parameters we have title, the header image, That's the big image you see on top. The thumbnail is Y image as well, optional. We need now to create identifier to compare two movies. So let identifier equals, and this is the way that is recommended. So I choose string, okay, and now implement the two methods of the hashable protocol. On the first one, this one I'm writing now, you need to say what it should be used as identifier. So put it here and then Asher and combine and pass the identifier. Let's copy. Okay, and the other one you compare two movies. Takes two movies as arguments, so like this, and you say that they are different if the identifier is not the same. So return is not identifier equals, and we can copy this and only change this. I will now create an initializer and set the default as nil for the ones that are optional. So init, and the arguments are title. We can copy here and paste it. The header image and set it as default nil, and thumbnail image. Okay, the defaults. This one as nil, and this one as nil as well. And I forgot to put the description, but I will do it now. So let the description is optional string. I will show you the image I'm using as a reference to this demo, and you can see what here. I will put the description here. So let the description, okay, let the description, I think I don't have any typo. The description string optional, and put it here as well. Description, type optional string, and the default nil. Let's set the fields now. Self dot title equals title. Self dot header image equals header image. And self dot thumbnail equals thumbnail, and the same to description. Self dot description equals description. I will now copy the data we are going to use. This can, in more complex applications, can be supplied by a database or the backend through an API, but here I will just create a class and copy, because the focus is the collection view and the layout. So let's call it movie manager, and I will copy it here, the movies I have. So Copy now and sorry, and paste it here. Okay, you can see we have sections, and we have here as well dictionary that has as key the section, and each section contains a list of movies. You can find this on the source code. Now let's add the first collection view cell. It's the highlight cell. You can add that in views. That's what I'm going to do. Here, Control N to create a new file, and this file extends UICollectionView cell. So I will select here touch class and change the name. It's called highlight cell. Highlight cell like this. Make sure it's a subclass of UICollectionView cell, and click create. Okay, now let's create an identifier to use it later. So static let use identifier equals, and I will use the class name, so describing highlight cell.self. So let's copy and paste it here. .self. Self. My mistake. Okay. Now let's create the outlets, the image view, and the label. We can do that by clicking Option and go to the storyboard. Option to open both side by side, and go here and set it the class we just created, and let's get some more room like this. Now you can press Ctrl here on the image and put it here, and let's call it image, and the same from the button. I'm always saying label, but it's a button. So button. Okay. Now we can close this and create a function that takes as argument a movie and sets the UI. So image equals movie dot highlight, because we want the highlight here. We are doing the first section, and the button that set title, and let's set it to movie dot description and normal. Let's go now to the view controller and prepare there the collection view. So open the view controller class. Okay, so let's do it now. In controllers, view controller, and let's comment first what we need to do. We are going to remove this, and we need to configure collection view layout, then configure data source, and configure the snapshot to populate the data source. And when you configure the data source at the beginning, and then when you want to update the data, you use the snapshot to update the data. So now let's start by configure collection view layout. I will give a type alias because the name is very long, and this way we can only use a smaller and a more concise name. So I will call it movie data source, and the type will be UICollectionView diffable data source, and it takes two hashables. In our case is section and movie. You can go to the definition of section and see that it is a enum, and the enum conforms to the hashable protocol by definition. And the other part is movie. The first part you pass is the section, and the second is the type of the items. You can see here both need to conform to the hashable protocol. Let's go to movie, and you can see we conform to that. We did that in the previous video, so you can review if you miss it. Let's configure now the highlight section. So we need to create an extension here. Let's mark first. Because we are going to use diffable data source, we need to use a class. So let's do it by creating an extension. So extension, and the name of this view controller. So movie feed view controller. Don't worry, I will change also the class name. And the method is configure collection view layout. So let's write it. Configure collection view layout. It doesn't receive any parameter, so let's remove it. Okay, and as return type is UI collection view compositional layout. This one. Okay, so inside this method we can assess the section and have different layout to different sections. To do that, you need to use section provider. In the section provider, you have access to the index and to the environment. On this demo, we will only use the index. So the index is an int, and the environment is this one, and as composition layout environment, and it returns a NS collection layout section. Collection layout section. It's optional. Here we need to create an item, a group, and then the section. So, and to create the item, you first need to create the item size, and these items, groups, and sections depend if you are on the highlight section, if you are on the preview, but I will show you that. So let's create an section variable, and it's the type NS collection layout section, and this is what we will return. Section. Okay, and use the switch case to create different section according to the index we have. So create here a method to provide the section if it is the index 0, it's the highlight section. So get highlight section and returns the same type. Here we will create this section and we will call it case is 0, and for now, because we don't have any other section, I will also put it here as default, but comment to add here the other sections. So now I will change this class name to get rid of this arrow. You can see we are the extension are on a movie feed view controller, and here we need to make sure it's the same. So because view controller only is too generic, and I like the view controllers to have a more specific name. So okay, I need to put the self here, self, and here as well. Okay, and section equals, and this way. Okay, now I think it's good. To create this, okay, we are missing the return here on this method, so let's add it, because we are using the section provider, but we don't return the UICollectionView compositional layout. So let's return UI compositional layout and pass the section provider. Okay, I think it will fix. Yes. Now on this method, like I said, we need first to create the item, then the group, and here on this demo each group has one item, but it can have more, and then use the group to create the section. And to create the item, you need first to create the item size. Let's do it now. So let item size equals ns this one, and pass here the width and 8. You have several options. You can use absolute or fractional. Fractional means percentage of the parent. Here if you give 1, it will take 100% of the group of the parent, that is the group size, and I will use fraction here, fraction 8 as well. You can combine this. For example, you can use the width to be a 50% of the height, for example, or vice versa. And the item, because we have already the size, now we will pass this size to create the item. So pass the size exactly, and put some content in cents to on the item. Yes, direction, and here I will put 0, 0, 0, and 0. The item is created. Now we will create the group and associate the item with the group. To create a group, you need first to create the group size, and use that group size to create the group. Group size, you create use this method as well, and pass here the width and height. Here I will give the 1 for the image that is on the highlight section to take the full screen, the full width of the screen, and height 40%. Okay, so now we have the group size. We can use this and the item that we created to create the group. And pass the size, and the items pass an array of items. Because we only have one, let's put it like this. Okay, we can now create the section. So let section equals collection this one, and pass the group. Group this one. Okay. Now you can define the type of scrolling, because we want to go from one image to another. On this section, the other sections we will use other scroll types, but here we want group page. But if you continue to see this series, you see more types of scrolling behavior. So, and the content insets for the section, here I will give 0, 0, 0, and 0. Okay, and we can return this. This is for the highlight section. The other ones will be a little bit different, but we can call now the method that we just created here. So let's call the collection view dot, and collection view layout equals configure collection view layout. That's the method we created. So configure. Okay, so now we configure the first section of the collection view, and we can continue with the data source and snapshot. I will do that in the following videos, so if you don't want to miss it, please don't forget to subscribe and press the like button if you like this, and see you in the next one.